A Samizdat documentary film, 10 Years in the Campaign for Human Rights, by Mikhail Makarienko.
Меня зовут Михаил Макаренко. В заключении я был 11 лет.
I am Mikhail Makarenko. I was imprisoned for 11 years. I was lucky. A lot of people are imprisoned for 25 years or more. But that is a state secret. The communists want to wipe out their deeds from our memory. They want their criminal past to be forgotten, so that they will be able to commit further crimes now and later unchecked. As a response, prisoners in Soviet camps established a tradition to commemorate September the 5th as Memorial Day for victims of the Red Terror. That is the day when living prisoners commemorate the ones who have died. Our dear brothers and sisters who lived and died 10, 20, 60 years ago in the same Soviet prisons and camps, generation after generation. That is the Memorial Day for 67 million victims of the Red Terror in the Soviet Union, and the Memorial Day for all victims of communism in the world.
5 сентября выбрано нами потому,
We chose September the 5th because on that date, on the 5th of September 1918, Lenin's Soviet government promulgated a measure unprecedented in the history of mankind. A decree authorizing mass terror and the establishment of concentration camps. This is the fateful decree that determined the future character of the 20th century.
Decree of the People's Commissars. The government finds it necessary in the present situation to safeguard the home front by means of terror. It is necessary to safeguard the Soviet Republic from its class enemies by isolating those enemies in concentration camps.
Мы решили еще в лагере, что следует увековечить память этих безвинных.
While still camp prisoners, we decided that the memory of the millions of innocent victims should be immortalized, so that the communists would not be able to wipe their deeds from the memory of the people and continue to commit their crimes. Year after year, we prisoners collected the scant data on the mass graves. The communists usually destroy the graves of their victims and eliminate them from the face of the earth so as to leave no traces of their crimes. The group was formed in 1977. By devious routes along rivers and through forests, it made its way to one of the greatest of mass graves of the century, to the mass grave of prisoners who built the White Sea-Baltic Sea Canal. This canal was built in the 1930s, in 30 degrees of frost, virtually by the bare hands of hundreds of thousands of prisoners. Those stones hold the last flickers of warmth of those young hands, for the murdered prisoners were mainly young. According to the official figures, 48% of all prisoners were between 14 and 24. These are their bones. The children from nearby villages use them as playthings. In the dark night, away from the guards' eyes under the barbed wire, our group crept forward to the mass graves. Those hills, high as a 3-storied building, are the mass graves. Here are the bones of 250,000 prisoners who died digging the canal.
Terror is a means of persuasion. Lenin, Works, 5th edition, volume 39, page 404. The intensity and magnitude of terror should be encouraged. The same, 5th edition, volume 50, page 106.
частицу их праха мы перевезли в Москву, чтобы отпеть
A
его.
portion of their ashes were taken to Moscow for a memorial service according to the rites of their religions, as there were people of all religions.
Эти человеческие кости
For 45 years, the bones had lain uncovered in the grass or covered by moss. In Moscow, people of different creeds performed the last rites for their co-religionists' ashes. One great candle for them all, 67 small candles for 67 million dead. More than 40 men helped to inter the ashes. 8 of them were political prisoners themselves. 6 of the participants were arrested later. One of them, Yuri Gutsalo, who had formerly served a 25-year term as a political prisoner, is alleged to have hanged himself. These wreaths were presented by political ex-prisoners. Armenian Helsinki Monitoring Group, Lithuanian Helsinki Monitoring Group, Ukrainian Helsinki Monitoring Group, Baptist Evangelist Group, representatives of Moscow Jews, and Central Asian Muslims. black car is looking for us. The state security agents make an intensive search for the ashes and for the site of the last rites. But those people dared to come and do their duty. Moscow, Red Square, the Kremlin, the historical and spiritual center of the country. Great national heroes and tsars are interred here. The tomb of the unknown soldier. The communists marred the walls of the Kremlin. Here they bury their own leaders, including mass murderers. The Troitsky Tower is the tallest of all the Kremlin towers. Here, at this spot, 50 yards away from the Kremlin wall, to the right of the Troitsky Tower, on 22nd April 1978, we interred the sacred ashes of the victims of the Red Terror. Remember the battlements and the windows, the roof gutters and the trees, the stones in the Kremlin wall. The first flowers laid on the grave by the Moscow defenders of human rights. Remember this place. Come here daily and every year on the 5th of September, every year, forever and ever. Pay tribute to the innocent victims, fathers and grandfathers, mothers and brothers. Now this is the sacred site in the land. May their memory live forever.
The Human Rights Program. Organizer Mikhail Makaryenko.